Joining us now on the line, as she does most Monday afternoons at this time, is Ann Coulter, author of many best-selling New York Times books, including her most recent one just out, Resistance is Futile. And resistance was futile on Saturday afternoon, wasn't it?
It sure was. A microcosm of the whole book. Their protests, these lunatics, they're going to end up saving Trump from not building the wall. Our side is really, really demoralized, but watching these lunatics pounding on, I assume you've been running the videos, pounding on trying to break into the Supreme Court, just nasty, ugly, many mentally disturbed protesters. That really shows the underbelly of the pleasant-looking Democrats they present for our votes, like Beto O'Rourke. Oh no! Right behind the Democrats are these loons.
Yeah, Beto O'Rourke, who says they need to import Mexicans because into Texas because blacks won't pick cotton anymore. Who runs away from a drunk driving accident that he caused, and then denies it, even though there are police reports out there. Who commits a burglary of a college building and then says it was a college prank, even though he wasn't in college. Yeah, is his name Beto O'Rourke or Beto Kennedy, Ann?
Well, he was never called Beto until he decided to run in Texas and wanted to give himself more of an Hispanic-sounding name. I think the most egregious thing he's done is just recently when he was speaking at a college campus and citing that anti-cop book, The New Jim Crow, that cops are just racistly choosing black people and black people only to imprison. This is the new way. It used to be slavery, but now we pretend they've committed crimes. I mean, to be taking a broad brush and describing police officers, particularly in Texas, that was where that Dallas shooting was, where five cops executed?
Right.
This is a Hillary Clinton style move. Remember, after that happened, Hillary Clinton specifically asked to go on Wolf Blitzer so she could comment on how the implicit racism in police forces across America, and that she was going to do something about that. 5 cops, but their corpses aren't even cold yet in the morgue, and she attacks them for their implicit racism.
Yeah,
Elizabeth I'm sure it was Warren. The Russians that elected Trump.
Elizabeth Warren did the same thing. 2 cops brutally murdered in cold blood here in her alleged home state of Massachusetts, and she goes down to New Orleans to the Nut Roots Conference, I call it, and talks about the American justice system as racist front to back. But Ann, let me ask you something. What is it with these Democrats changing their names? I thought I mentioned it briefly last week, and then I thought of more. There's Beto O'Rourke, there's Gary Hartpence, there's Anthony Villa, who became Anthony Villaraigosa. There's Kevin Leone, becomes Kevin De Leon, and then there was the congressman in Philadelphia who's now in prison. I guess his name was Frizzell. I don't know if it was Lefty Frizzell, but he changed it to Chaka Fatah. I mean, all these...
That's a pretty good list, Howie.
I just did it off the top of my head.
They're like political Rachel Dolezals. No, don't confuse us with white men. We've just changed our names to sound more ethnic.
How about if I moved to Texas, Ann, and I could become Howie Carrara? You know?
Well, if you want to run as a Democrat.
Yeah.
If it isn't already clear, if the Democrats take control of the House this fall, I need to put a list together because based on seniority, all of the important committees and probably by rights the new speaker, it's pretty much going to be across the board. Not only members of the Congressional Black Caucus, but some of the especially ripe ones like Sheila Jackson Lee and Maxine Waters. I mean, if whatever her name is, Alexa Ocasio-Cortez, and that one up near you, I forget her name.
Ayanna Pressley. Ayanna Pressley.
Right.
Yes.
If this isn't enough to show Democrat white men that there is no place for you in the modern Democratic Party, I think it will become very clear if Democrats take the House.
Yeah. By the way, Ann, I missed one. Linda Sanchez, formerly known as Linda Jones, out in California.
Wow.
Remember her? Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, I think she married. I think her name was Jones. I think she married a Jones. But as soon as she was running in that district against B1 Bob Dornan and said this is 50% Hispanic now, she went back to
right.
She dumped that married name faster than you could shake a stick at it. Yeah,
I have been thinking that if I should start advising young Republican girls I meet. I mean, I guess you don't have to be a Republican. Marry an Hispanic so you can take the last name right away. You will be guaranteed a spot on TV.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, there used to be a guy that worked for Mike Dukakis, and his name was Manuel Carballo. And I always just say, man, you got it made. You're Spanish, but you can claim to be Hispanic. And he goes, I would never do something like that. That would be despicable, because he was Castilian or something,
Right.
But I thought to myself, yeah, he's the one. He's the one in a million who was not going to try to take it. And he died shortly thereafter. So I wonder what he would think now if he could see the way these people are taking these names or changing the names. Kevin Leone, he didn't think I guess he was afraid he was going to be confused as an Italian, right? So he decides to become Kevin De Leon, as in Ponce de Leon.
Right. It's so despicable how I mean, and the Democrats have the audacity to talk about Republicans pushing identity politics. No, this is coming 100% from the left. As I've said many times, it is one thing to have set-asides, racial set-asides, and affirmative action for African Americans, the descendants of American slaves. But this idea that you arrive on Friday and by Monday you're looking at the newscast and saying, I noticed there are no ties on the evening newscast. No, you just got here.
Right. And someone just points out, we forgot the biggest fraud of all. Mayor Warren Wilhelm.
Oh, that's right.
Of New York City. The one who told the homeless woman to get lost the other day because he was doing his workout.
Is that right? Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, that was on the front page of the New York Post. We've actually got tape of that, Steve, right? Let's listen to this.
Out of 300,000 units.
What's that now? Sorry.
Out of the
Hey, guys, I'm in the middle of doing my workout.
Out of the 300,000 units that in your affordable housing program, only 5% will go to house the homeless. Can you look me in the eye and tell me why you're not doing it?
Why won't you commit more housing for homeless New Yorkers, Mayor de Blasio?
He's doing his workout, Ann.
I love when the left turns on their own. It's so much fun. Did you see, what's his name? Scott, the one married to Gabby Giffords. What's his name?
I don't know.
The one who shot the astronaut.
Oh, it's Kelly. Scott Kelly.
Yeah,
oh,
did you see? He sent out some quote, some statement. I believe it was attacking Kavanaugh. Don't worry. The point of it was totally, down with the social justice warriors. But he quoted Winston Churchill, and the SJWs ganged up on him because apparently Churchill is now a white supremacist too. So the big, tough man astronaut sends out a tweet apologizing for quoting Winston Churchill.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, that was pathetic. Hey, how about this latest thing? Did you see? You remember this woman that works at CNN? You probably don't know her because I doubt you watch CNN any more than I do. Caitlin Collins. Remember her?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get to know her now because I know the story you're talking about.
Yeah, she was. They brought her in. She was as part of a pool reporting and camera crew just to get a spray. That they bring in one reporter in case something happens. So she violates all the usual rules of protocol for the White House press corps and starts screaming at Trump about the Michael Cohen tapes. That he had supposedly given up, and Michael Cohen had these tapes, which of course he didn't have, as we found out.
Much like what's her name, the Apprentice gal, Omarosa. Whatever happened to that tape of Trump using the N-word? Okay, go ahead.
But anyway, so she was a hero. So they said, you're out of here. You're out of here for a couple of days. You can't come in. You can't come to the press conferences because you violated the rules. I mean, it wasn't like permanent banning or anything. They just giving her a slap on the wrist. So, so she's a big hero, and even Fox News has to chime in and say, oh, Caitlin Collins deserves the Profiles in Courage Award, et cetera, et cetera. Well, guess what happened, Ann? Tweets.
Someone looked back at her high school years.
That's right.
And I love them all leaping to her defense and saying, oh, you can't be held accountable for something you do in high school. They will take the double standards, make your head spin. They were just calling Judge Kavanaugh a rapist for something that allegedly, clearly did not, happen in high school.
And I have it right in front of me here. I'm holding it up for the camera here. Here are her tweets. This is not an unproven allegation. These are the tweets that she was sending out. And not a problem, because you know what? She works for CNN. And even if she got fired from CNN, Ann, she could go to work for MSNBC. She could be a co-anchor with Joy Ann Reid, and they could all talk about how much they don't like members of sexual minorities.
Gays.
Right.
Yes. No, they'd have. I mean, I guess if you have 100% control of the media, this is the sort of thing you can get away with. But it's still this one's a little stunning. You have to go back. What is it now? 18 years to get to Gloria Steinem writing in the New York Times that a governor dropping his pants and saying kiss it to someone who works for him. No, that's one free grope rule. He took no for an answer. But Kavanaugh allegedly, again, BS story, no corroboration, recovered memory, and so on and so forth, allegedly did the same thing as a drunk college student, and we're going to burn down the Supreme Court if he gets on because of that. That's 18 years. Here, it's a week later.
How about the fact that they all 2 years ago they were writing about how the Democrats had a lock on the Electoral College. They were going to control American politics for a generation, if not forever. Then they lose the election and they want to abolish the Electoral College. Then they talk about the Supreme Court is sacrosanct. Anytime they rule in favor of abortion or gay marriage, it's settled law. The Supreme Court decided it. It's the ultimate thing. Now there's a conservative majority on the Supreme Court, so we're going to have to pack the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah, that's well thought out.
But it's true. That's what they're saying, Ann. You know, they're talking.
No, I know. Well, they do not accept democracy or losing in a democracy. Thus, immigration, of course, the biggest issue. That's how they win finally, permanently, and beyond repair. We're 50 years into the social experiment of bringing in 1 million third worlders or more every year. 8 out of 2 vote for the Democrats. The Supreme Court, they figured out about 30, 40 years ago, it's not that the Supreme Court was designed to be a super legislature of these philosopher kings, but the left figured out, they go last. So simply as a logistical matter, if we can pilot these cases and get 5 justices to rule for us, so it's either, 60 million foreigners voting for us in elections. If that's not even enough, then we'll get 5 justices. Now these paths of cheating are being cut off, so they want to back the court. Well, right. Okay, then a Republican gets in, and he packs the court. And then a Democrat gets in, and he packs the court. I mean,
and pretty soon we have more people on the Supreme Court than in the New Hampshire House of Representatives. Right. All right.
They will not accept losing.
Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us. The title of your new book is?
Resistance is Futile, How the Trump-Hating Left Lost Its Collective Mind.
And it certainly did over the weekend. Thank you, Ann Coulter.
Yes, it did. Goodbye.
Bye. I'm Howie Carr.